The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 722. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have an amazing lady on the show today. She's a model, a talent, storyteller, a speaker, and also an advocate, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Rajee Aerie. Rajee, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited to be on your show today. And what a great introduction. I definitely have done all of those things at some point in my life, and it was, quite the journey to get there, but I definitely had to build my confidence in order to get there. So, but yeah, I saw growing up, I saw a real lack of inclusion of people, not only South Asians, but people with disabilities in media. And it didn't really affect me actually until I got a little bit older. I would say probably more high school age that I really took notice to that. And I was like, this is not okay, and I'm going to change this. So I went to school for broadcast journalism, and then just through my journey, I have been able to work in, the entertainment industry to some degree. And I thought I was going to, have the newscaster haircut and be doing the news. And turns out I didn't go that route, and mainly because it was just when I graduated, the industry was extremely the economy was bad, I guess, and so nobody was hiring. So I had to kind of pave my own path and figure out how to get to where I wanted to go. And so I dealt with a lot of disappointments, a lot of no's, a lot of discouragement, and that really did take a toll on my confidence. But you just somehow wake up every day and you keep going, and I'm still in that process. So, but I've done a lot, and in the time that I feel like from when I graduated till now, and so it gives me encouragement, I think, to keep going, because it's the baby steps that get you to where you eventually want to be, and it, like I said, it's a process and it's a continuous journey, and I learn a lot about myself each and every day, and it's great how much I can take what I've learned and contribute that to others.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Rajee, what's your cultural background?
I was born in India, so I'm East Indian, but I was adopted by a wonderful American family when I was really young. I did contract polio when I was born in India, and at the time, my biological mother was a widow and had many other kids, and I guess couldn't afford to get the vaccine, or they just didn't have it. I'm not really sure all the details. I wasn't, privy to those. But and then she, put me up for adoption. But I, have often thought about that whole situation, and I just feel so blessed and fortunate to have been able to be adopted by like I said, a very loving, kind, caring family, one that has always taught me to really go after my dreams and goals and love myself and celebrate the, individual that I am. So I would say that my life turned out great.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I've always liked the quote, "The most beautiful thing you can wear is a smile." And I really do believe that, because I actually, my entire life, I've been told, "Wow, you have such a beautiful smile." In fact, this past weekend, I was at an event, and I kid you not, I think at least 5 different people over the course of the 3 days came up to me, and they were like, "Wow, you have the most beautiful smile." So I think, when you really believe it, it comes out even more. So
that's a great quote, and I totally believe your smile can really make a difference. And sometimes when you're not feeling 100% confident, just, giving yourself a smile or seeing somebody else smile can really just brighten up your day. So thanks for sharing that. And Rajee, in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I think that, self-confidence is definitely something that you have to build. But for me anyway, it was like one of those things where you have to, once you become aware of the person that you are and the beautiful gift that you are as a being, and realizing you're unique and you're everything that you are, you're I mean, society, might say that they're flaws, but they're not. It's just who you are. And so I think once you recognize and own the fact that that's just who you are, and it should be celebrated. So I think, just I would say, just really internally looking within and accepting that and being like, I'm perfect exactly as I am, and I have so much to give in this world. And so once you accept that, then I think, that's where your own self-confidence builds.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Oh, girl. I mean, I think, everyone goes through this awkward, like, who am I? And like, and feeling that insecurity of just being awkward, I guess. And that's everybody, growing up, because you don't know who you are. And obviously those teenage years is probably where it's at its worst, right? Because then it's like, oh my gosh, my body is changing. And all of a sudden there's like boys and, so it's interesting, because that was a period of time for me where I finally, where I really started noticing, the lack of confidence I had in myself, because it was just, society and the world around me kind of emphasized, looks so much. And so having a disability obviously was really hard, because it was kind of like, before I was like, oh no, this is, like, this is who I am. And I still played on the playground with the kids and figured out ways to be involved, even despite the fact that, I might not be able to like run as fast or, things like that. But as a teenager, it was all of a sudden, like I said, your like physical body is changing. And so that was kind of the point for me where I had to really, figure out, like, how do I feel good about myself? And so, I mean, it helps that I think even back then I recognize, oh my gosh, like, I have beautiful hair and I have a beautiful smile. And, those are things that I was told growing up my entire life. So that was wonderful to have those things. But it's just, and besides just the physical, to realize what your gifts and your talents are too. And so when I was younger, I really loved art and I was really good at it. So, just realizing, and I liked writing as well. So then as I got older, I had to write a paper on self-esteem. And when I was doing the research and statistics and all that stuff, and I was like, man, it just kind of dawned on me that really your self-esteem truly does come from within. And so I started to build my confidence more once I wrote that paper. Because the other thing too, for me at least, was, flipping through magazines or seeing, these beautiful people on TV and being like, oh my gosh, I don't look anything like these people. But then really, I think it's a matter of like I said, just recognizing what you bring to the table, and that you are just as good or just as beautiful or talented or whatever as the people that, you see, or your peers. And so it was one of those things where it's like, no, I am good enough. And, I can do this too. And so then just to really feel inside that, you're confident and that you can do whatever it is that you desire, and that you're beautiful. And, part of that could be like waking up in the morning, first thing, looking in the mirror and being like, I love myself and I am beautiful and I love this about myself, whatever it is. And, I am just gonna go serve others, or, I'm really good at listening, or whatever that is, and so it's just recognizing your qualities that you love about yourself and owning that.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's totally true, right? Confidence is something that we learn or we work from the inside, and it'll show once we start working inward, and like you mentioned, we see all these beautiful people like online and on magazines, but nobody realizes how altered that it was, or how airbrushed those pictures are. So it's like this distorted reality of beauty, which really sucks, because, I think we need more authenticity in the world. And the more we can show like who we can truly are, or who we really are, then people can relate to that. And, because of your realizations, what's your life been like now?
Well, and going back to the whole, what you just said about like, seeing the airbrushed and stuff. And that's very true. I mean, there was a very long period where you saw that. And I mean, it still exists today, but I think brands are starting to finally get away from that. And I mean, for me, I feel so fortunate and, just I had the opportunity for me to model for Aerie, ironically, I don't own that brand, guys. So I know people always think, because my last name is Aerie, that I have some sort of affiliation with the Aerie brand, which is American Eagle's sister brand. But it just was a complete coincidence that I happened to model for them in their campaign last summer. And that really celebrated the individuality and the beauty in all women. And they actually were a company that stopped airbrushing back several years ago. And I really connected with that brand. And I, was like, I want to model for them. And lo and behold, the opportunity came and I submitted myself for that campaign and I got selected. And so it's just wonderful that there are more and more brands that are really celebrating that and recognizing that people want to see authenticity. People want to see the scars, the stretch marks, the, skin conditions, the disabilities, everything, just because they want to be able to relate. And they don't want to like have this superficial, person that they need to look like because that person doesn't even exist. Even the people that are the models in the magazines that are airbrushed, they don't even look like themselves, So I think it's great that there are brands out there now that are changing that.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's great that you were able to do that. And, a nice coincidence that your last name also matches the company you modeled for, which I think is, yeah. So I think that's great. And yeah, I think that's great. And I hope there's more brands that can follow that lead, right? Just no more airbrushing, showing our true colors, our true authentic selves, so that people can realize it's okay to be your authentic self. So thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you'd give to her?
Oh, geez. Just one, huh? No, I think that, we all go through this. We all have those hardships and those days where we just are so down and out and just kind of, really down on ourselves. And I think that it's switching that mindset and truly going deep inside and, not focusing on the negatives, and it's just, granted, it's taken me years, but like, I'm a person that can give this advice now because I've gone through my own journey. But yeah, I still have days where once in a while I'll be like, man, I'm not feeling so hot today, but, overall, I feel great. Actually, I feel more confident today than I ever have. And that's because I took that, step to be like, nope, this is who I am, despite my disability, despite my scars, despite like everything, that I've gone through in my life. And that doesn't mean just physical. I would say that's also just struggles that you go through that sometimes will break you down. And, it's just having the courage and the confidence to be able to really wake up every day and put your best foot forward and to live your authentic life and own who you are, because we all are such incredible human beings and we have so much to give in this world and to serve others. And I think when you recognize that and you realize that you have so much worth and there's a reason you're on this planet, and those are all things that I had to come and realize. And in going back to the whole, smiling, sometimes it's as simple as, walking out your door and smiling at strangers, because I can't tell you how many times that I do that naturally, because that's just who I am. And majority of the time it's received back with a smile, and that can just make somebody's day. So I would say, just it's an effort, and but over time it'll just become so natural, and you'll get over the insecurities, and you'll just be like, nope, this is who I am, and take it or leave it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing those great tips. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, or check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
I would say the easiest way to connect with me is through my Instagram. So just Rajee Aerie, if you look me up. And I do share a lot of my own journey and some of my work. And, anytime I'm doing any projects, I usually post on there, or events that I'm involved in, or, just like I said, just my own little words of advice or my own struggles, that kind of stuff. So I think that's probably the best place to go is my Instagram at the moment.
Thanks for sharing that. To our listeners, if you want to connect with Rajee, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Rajee's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Rajee today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Rajee.
Of course. I'm so glad I was able to be on your show.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show today. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.